What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for the Week 19 Premier League predictions. It is Christmas Eve. We just got done with the Arsenal-Liverpool fixture at Anfield, and I have to say, as an Arsenal fan, I do think a draw is a fair result. It was a good game to watch, and it was closely contested, and we're top of the league at Christmas, so can't complain there. If you want to get exclusive tips on the Premier League and a bunch of other different leagues, up to about 20 leagues that I cover, then you can click the first link in the description to join the 100 plus other members over on Patreon who are supporting the channel and getting free tips pretty much every single day whenever there's fixtures for the low price of $9.99 a month. Flashing up on the screen are all of the members that have since joined the Patreon since we started towards the start of this season, and it's been a great ride so far. I hope you are all enjoying it, and thank you so much for the support. You obviously get a shout out in every single video like all the patrons just did there if you do sign up. So if you want to do that, then click the first link in the description. But now let's get into the Boxing Day and 27th and 28th game week fixtures. Kicking it off, we do have Newcastle up against Nottingham Forest, and I absolutely love the value here. It's Newcastle at home at St James's Park versus a very out of form Nottingham Forest who fell prey to a Dominic Solanke hat-trick, and I think Newcastle are going to win this one quite convincingly despite any injury issues they may have. It's St James's Park. Nottingham Forest travelling with Nuno Espirito Santo as the manager, but I think Newcastle are going to get the win here. I'm going big. I'm going 4-0 to Newcastle, and my tip is Newcastle -1 handicap at 2.37. I think they can cover it because whilst it sounds a lot, it is simply just a 2-0, and I do think they're going to cover that against Nottingham Forest. I mean, if you look at the wins here, 3-0 against Fulham, United, that's United, they absolutely bossed them that game, and Chelsea 4-1. When Newcastle win, they typically win quite big, and I think it's nothing crazy to assume they're going to win here at home, so I'm going to go for a high scoring one. After this, it's Bournemouth up against Fulham. Bournemouth, one of the form teams in the Premier League. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I wasn't brave enough to predict Bournemouth to win at home. My tip is going to be both teams to score on over 2.5 goals at 2.05. I think that is way more likely than a Bournemouth win at 2.16. So to suggest that they're only 0.1 apart, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Bournemouth are going to win this one quite convincing. Win this one? No, they're not going to win this one quite convincing. I think there's going to be goals, and I could see it being over 3.5 goals, honestly. But both teams to score and over 2.5 at 2.05. I hope that Bournemouth or Fulham don't just randomly win 3-0. But look at that run of form for Bournemouth. The last loss was against Manchester City when I predicted Bournemouth would lose 6-0, and they lost 6-1. And since then, they've been absolutely smashing it, as you can see. And they could have beat Aston Villa there as well. Phenomenal run of form for Bournemouth. After this, Sheffield United up against Luton Town. I'm going to go a bit out of the blue here. This might be the only time I predict a Luton win. 1-0 to Luton. I'm going to say it. 1-0 to Luton. My tip is Luton double chance at 1.57. Sometimes if I think the underdog might win, looking at the double chance market might be handy. Sheffield United almost beating Aston Villa at Villa Park, but at the very least stopping their winning streak. Very good from them, albeit Aston Villa were pretty dominant in that game. I think there should have been a penalty, but it is what it is. I'm just going to go for it. Bramall Lane, Luton, 1-0 win. Why not? It's risky, and it could be a differential to push me up the prediction leagues. After this, Burnley up against Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to win this one quite convincingly. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. My tip is Liverpool -1 handicap at 1.95. I think the value is pretty good. You could get Liverpool and Newcastle to win -1 handicap for odds of about 4. I think that's pretty good for what will probably be a 2 or 3-0 in both games for Liverpool and for Newcastle. So yeah, I think that'll be pretty good for Liverpool because they will then be right up there with Arsenal still. After this, Manchester United up against Aston Villa. This is a very, very difficult one. At Villa Park, I'd go for an Aston Villa win. I predicted that West Ham would beat Man United, scoring twice in the previous game, and they won 2-0. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Is that crazy? I don't know. Clearly not. The odds suggest that it's very even between the two teams. I think at Villa Park, like I said, Aston Villa do take the win. But I'm going to go 1-1. My tip is Aston Villa double chance and both teams to score at 2.15. So that would have come true here in this fixture. That would have come true in this fixture here. Not against Arsenal, but it should have been 1-1, really. That was just a good result. That would have come in. That would have come in, and that would have come in. So Aston Villa double chance and both teams to score is looking pretty good, especially if I don't think they're going to get the win at the Old Trafford, which I don't think they will because I think United need something from this game. So we're going to go 1-1. After this, Brentford up against Wolves. Wolves playing today against Chelsea. You would have seen it already, but it's currently 9 a.m. for me. So they kick off against Chelsea in a few hours, so you'll know the result. I think Wolves could get a result against Chelsea, but I don't know. That could genuinely go either way. I'm going to go for a Brentford 2-1 win. A little bit more rest than Wolves, given that they didn't play Man City due to their Club World Cup appearance. So I think Brentford are going to win. My tip is both teams to score at 1.8. I think Wolves can get on the score sheet. I think Brentford are going to get the home win. I might even be confident enough to say Brentford and both teams to score. Odds are probably about 3.4, 3.5. Maybe even 4, something like that. But I think both teams to score there looks pretty good. After this, Chelsea up against Crystal Palace. I'm actually going to go for a Chelsea win. Again, like I said, I don't know the result against Wolves. It hasn't happened yet. You guys have the hindsight, but anything genuinely could happen in that fixture. But I think Chelsea are going to win, and I'm just going to keep it simple. Chelsea to win at 1.59. A lot of people might see these odds and think they're too low, but I think Chelsea are very, very likely to win this game. I just get that feeling. Everton up against Manchester City. I think this is going to be a really close, really difficult game for Manchester City. I do think they're going to win 2-1. I actually looked at the Everton +2 handicap to start with, and that's Everton to lose by 1 goal at the most, or draw or win. But that was actually lower odds than Man City to win. So rather than going for Everton +2 handicap at 1.5, I've gone for Man City to win at 1.6 as my tip, because I do think Man City are going to bounce back and get the win. I'm not quite sure on the fitness status of Erling Haaland or Kevin De Bruyne, but either way, I think Man City are going to be able to beat Everton at Goodison Park. But if they don't, long may it continue. Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa can extend the lead. If Man City don't win, they are behind Tottenham outright with 18 games played, so they really do need a win to push up, because this is, I think, the lowest amount of points they've had at Christmas Day since Pep Guardiola took over with Manchester City. So it's good for everyone else in the league, but I do think Man City are going to win and bounce back. So I've just gone for that tip there, given that Everton +2 handicap was as low as 1.5. So that would be just backing Everton to not lose by 2 or more goals. That's where I went first. You could go for Man City to win by 1 goal exactly at 3.75. I did consider that, but there's so many margins as to why that can go wrong. Obviously, Everton could have a bad day or a really good day. It has to be very specific. So think about that if you want. After this, Brighton against Tottenham. Tottenham 3 wins in a row. Brighton winless in their last 3. I think both teams are going to score, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Tottenham. Tottenham, the underdogs in this fixture, just about. But my tip is actually going to be Tottenham, both teams to score at 4. I like it. I thought about Tottenham to win at 2.6 as a tip, but I think Brighton are going to score. I think Tottenham would concede. We tipped Tottenham and both teams to score against Everton last week at odds of 3.1, and that came in as well. So I think this could be a decent shout, even though Tottenham aren't at full strength. I think they should be able to get the win here. Final game of this game week is Arsenal up against West Ham. West Ham, Jared Bowen scoring again for fun, beating Manchester United, but Arsenal at the Emirates, they tend to toy with West Ham at the Emirates, if I remember correctly. I'm going to go for a 3-1. My tip is Arsenal to win and both teams to score at 2.87. So if you want to look at the result on both teams to score market, I think Man City and both teams to score is a decent shout. I think Arsenal and both teams to score is a decent shout. But other than that, I'm not so certain that a team can win and both teams to score. Again, Tottenham Brighton could happen. Chelsea Palace could happen. Brentford Wolves, I do like it. I'm not quite sure on either the result or both teams scoring in the other fixtures. But that is going to do it for this video, the Premier League predictions. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much for 25,000 subscribers. That was the goal for this year, and we have since, of course, reached 26,000 subscribers. So if you want to see more prediction videos and stuff in the future, then be sure to subscribe down below, drop a like, and whilst you're down there, leave your predictions for the Boxing Day fixtures in the comments. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, whatever you get up to, and I will see you in the next video very soon.